Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into A.J. Finn's psychological thriller, The Woman in the Window. It's become really popular.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Our mission basically is to unpack it, all the plot, the psychological stuff that makes it tick.
And it really does tick. So the story centers on Dr. Anna Fox. She's a former child psychologist, and she's living with pretty severe agoraphobia.
Right, in this big New York City house.
Exactly. So she can't really leave her home. She's confined.
So you've got the setup. Her world is just her house.
Yeah.
And what does she do? Watches old movies, drinks maybe a bit too much wine, and she starts watching her neighbors across the street. And that's where things get, well, interesting.
That's the hook right there, because one day she's looking out and she thinks she sees something awful happen, like really bad, involving a woman in the house opposite.
Oh, wow.
But, and this is crucial, when she tries to report it, no one believes her. Not the police, nobody. And that's where the mind games really start. It just kicks off this huge psychological mystery.
You can almost feel that pressure cooker environment. She's trapped physically by the agoraphobia.
Yeah.
How does that isolation, that single viewpoint from her window, how does that really shape everything, what she sees or thinks she sees?
Well, that's kind of the genius of it, isn't it? Her condition isn't just like a backdrop. It is her reality, her whole routine. The wine, the movies, the spying. Basically, it leads her right into this situation. She's completely reliant on just what she can see from inside.
And then, boom, the immediate disbelief from everyone.
Exactly.
That rejection just throws gasoline on the fire, doesn't it? It becomes less about what she saw and more about, can she even trust herself? Can anyone else trust her?
Right. It creates this immediate, intense psychological tension.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go.
And these themes, trauma, memory, trust, mental illness, they're not subtle.
No, not at all. They're front and center. Her agoraphobia, her past, which you learn more about as you go, it all feeds into making her this perfect, unreliable narrator.
So as you're reading, you're constantly asking, okay, is this real? Or is this in her head?
Yeah. Is it actually happening? Or is it like a product of her fear, her isolation, the medication, the wine, that uncertainty? It's really powerful.
It makes for such a visual read, too. I mean, it feels very cinematic. It's really no surprise they made it into a movie.
Oh, absolutely. You can just picture it all.
Yeah.
And the style, the suspense, it feels very Hitchcockian.
Definitely getting Rear Window vibes.
And that's deliberate. Finn actually puts Rear Window in the book. Anna watches it.
No way. That's clever.
Yeah, it's a neat little meta reference. It really leans into those themes of watching, voyeurism, isolation. Makes it even creepier, sort of.
So Anna herself, she's such a complex character, right? You really feel for her. You understand her trauma, but at the same time,
you're questioning everything she says and sees.
Yeah. That contradiction is fascinating.
It really is. That's what makes her compelling, I think.
Yeah.
You're rooting for her, but you're also suspicious. And then you add in the neighbors she's watching, the Russells.
The mysterious new family.
Right. They move in, and they seem to have secrets piling up from day one. It just creates this perfect storm of suspicion and potential deception.
And speaking of deception, the twists. This book is famous for them.
Oh, yeah. Big time. There are definitely some big twists. Some, maybe you'll have an inkling.
You might see something coming.
Maybe. But others, they will totally blindside you, just knock you off your feet.
That's what you want in a thriller like this, though?
Absolutely. That's kind of the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
It needs to surprise you, make you rethink everything you thought you knew. And this book delivers that mix, the ones you kind of guess and the ones that just, wow, keeps you guessing.
So for someone picking this up, what's the reading experience actually like? What should you expect?
Well, it's definitely a book that asks for a little patience at the start.
Okay.
The pacing is what you'd call a slow burn, especially maybe in the middle part. That's kind of necessary, I think.
And why is that?
It really builds that claustrophobic feeling, It puts you right there in Anna's head in her house. It needs that time to steep you in the atmosphere.
Makes sense.
But then, oh man, it takes off. It really does. It hits a point where you just cannot put it down.
Gotcha. So if you're listening and you loved books like, say, Gone Girl, or The Girl on the Train, those kinds of twisty, keep you guessing stories,
then yes, absolutely. This is right in that sweet spot. If you like that kind of psychological game playing, you'll likely really enjoy this.
It sounds like a really satisfying read overall, then.
It really is. It's got a great mix. The suspense is there. The character development is deep, especially with Anna. And yeah, those plot twists are memorable.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. To summarize, if you're into those twisty psychological thrillers, the kind that really play with your perception,
The Woman in the Window is definitely one to check out.
just maybe be prepared for that initial slower pace.
Right, and be aware it does touch on some pretty dark themes. It goes to some heavy places.
But worth it for the payoff.
I'd say so, yeah. It's a really gripping journey.
So as we finish this deep dive, here's something to maybe chew on, something the book really brings up.
Okay.
With its focus on an unreliable narrator, on questioning what's real, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much do our own biases, our own experiences, our own internal stuff, how much does that shape what we perceive as true?
Good question.
Not just when we're reading a book, but, in everyday life, how much of reality is actually our own filtered version?
Yeah, that's a deep one. The nature of personal truth. Definitely something the book leaves you thinking